Today's review of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury takes us to a desert planet in a galaxy far, far away that even has its own dark side cave. Hey guys, welcome back to Mighty Morphin DJ. I'm DJ, and today we're going to continue talking about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, episodes 2 and 3, and they were good. So episode 2 opens up, and we have Ollie locked up in the med bay, because we are trying to figure out how to cure him of his evilness once again. So we've got Amelia and we've got Ollie's mom working on it, because they're the sciencey one and the not sciencey one, but still wearing a lab coat. I don't know. And while they're doing that, we've got Billy and Solon working on replacing Javi's arm that got blown off in the previous episode. Still think that's cool as all get out. So that we can replace it with a cybernetic arm. Ion goes back to his restaurant for the time being, and Izzy starts getting ready to head off to college with Fern, her girlfriend, who was introduced in the previous 2 seasons of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Meanwhile, back out in space, Lord Zedd is trying to figure out how he's going to go and conquer Earth and conquer the Rangers and all that fun stuff, and before he can even get the first thought out of his head, Dewdrip, who's the monster that sprayed all the Rangers with evil medicine in the first place and made Ollie evil again, still can't believe I remember his name. He's not important to the plot at all. Well, anyway, he phones in to let Zedd and them know that he stole one of their drill ships and he's going to fly it to Earth to defeat the Rangers and get his job back. Stupid. At first, Zedd is like super annoyed with this, but then he thinks, well, you know what? The heck with it. If he wins, I'll just zoom in and, steal the credit. If he doesn't win, I'll just jump in there while the Rangers are down and finish the job. Win-win, right? So he shows up in orbit of Earth, and the Rangers detect him, and they're like, you know what? Let's just go head him off in space and fight him before he even lands on the ground. And I am on board with that. That is actually really smart. Why haven't Power Rangers done that in the past? The aliens, the villains, whoever... 9 times out of 10 in Power Rangers, they're always aliens. They're always coming from space. Why don't we head them off in orbit before they land on the ground and fall on buildings and stuff? Now keep in mind at this point in the show, the Rangers still have their Dino Fury powers. So Amelia, Billy, Ion, and Izzy hop in their Cosmic Fury Zords and they go up into orbit and they fight this drill thing in space. And they do a pretty good job of just taking it down without much of a fight. It was, it was pretty easy. So the fight's over, Dewdrip is no more, and this is the last time we see him throughout the course of the show, thank God. The Rangers go back to base and they decide, you know what, Lord Zedd is probably right behind him, so we need to start taking precautions to make sure that we're prepared when Zedd shows up. So, first they spray Ollie with the cure to make him not evil. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. He wakes up and he's still evil as hell. So the priority is, make Ollie not evil. So they come up with a new idea to make him not evil, but they know Lord Zedd's coming, so what they decide to do is first they get one of their Dino Fury keys that makes things invisible, and they get Izzy out there, and she makes the whole of Dino Henge invisible, though nobody can see him. Meanwhile, they strap a electro-charge, I forget what they call it, but they strap a thing to the Triceratops statue because they think that the reason Ollie's still evil is because his connection to the Morphin grid has been corrupted. So they're going to purge him with pure grid energy, and that should basically reboot him so that his Morphin grid's not corrupted and he's not evil anymore. That's what they said in the show. Doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. So right when they get to working on this, Lord Zedd's forces show up and they're sneaking around trying to find the base. Of course, they can't see it because they're invisible. But we've got Billy and Ion running point. So they start fighting off some Zedd minions while they start working on trying to get this thing strapped together so they can go ahead and zap Ollie with it. But then Fern just shows up because, it's Fern, and Fern's looking for her girlfriend because she's not answering her phone, and so she just shows up at the base. She's like, hey, where's my girlfriend? And then she's surrounded by Zedd minions. So it's like, oh crap. So Javi, who's not quite ready to fight yet, but he's got his arm now. He's got a cybernetic arm. So he jumps in, he fights him off for her, and then he teleports her into the base to keep her safe while they fight off the rest of the minions. And the plan pretty much goes as planned, except for the part that there's a big shockwave after they zap Ollie, and everybody gets knocked down, including Izzy, who is keeping the base invisible. So now the base is visible, the minions can spot it, Zedd spots it, he zaps down, and he just destroys all the statues. All the statues, and the Rangers lose their powers. Now, I like this for 2 reasons. A, it shows that Zedd actually pays attention. He knows that the Dino statues are the source of the Rangers' power. So, destroy the statues, destroy the Rangers. Easy peasy. So, it shows that Zedd is smart, and he doesn't just, he's not your typical stupid villain who, like, the answer was obvious the entire season. Why didn't they just do that? Because, the plot demanded that they didn't do it. That's why. In this season, it's like, no. He's like, oh, I know how you become Rangers, so we're going to just nip that in the butt and zaps it. So, good on him. The second reason I like this is because this gives us a reason for our current team of Rangers to have to go out in search of new powers, which we have not had since the Mighty Morphin era. I really like it. So we've got a team of Rangers. They need new powers because their old powers were destroyed. They got to figure out a way to get new powers so they can morph again, so they can go back to fighting evil again. We haven't had that in years and years and years and years and years. I like it. I like that we have had the same team of Rangers for 3 seasons now. I really appreciate this. However, it turns out that Ollie is still evil. The thing that they tried to do didn't work, so he's like, Zedd, I'm still on your side. Spare my statue so I can still morph and fight them for you. So that happened. And then as a punctuation mark, to prove that he's still evil, he just, on a whim, throws his sword at Amelia and almost impales her with it. She just barely ducks it and gets a scar across her cheek. Wow. I mean, this is Power Rangers. Wow. So at this point, pretty much all the Rangers, aside for Billy, are unmorphed, and they know that they are scrod. So they all beam back into the base, decide, okay, we'll be safe in the base, we gotta figure out what to do next. And then a drill shows up and starts drilling down into the base. It's like, Zedd's like, nope, not gonna work, not wasting any time. I know where you are, I know how to get to you. Bring me a drill. And he starts drilling down into it. It's like, Zedd is like not playing around. He's being smart. I like this. Oh, I like a competent villain. And Zedd was always a competent soldier. Thank you. Thank you. So now the Rangers have to use their get out of jail free card, which was only introduced this episode. It was teased a little bit earlier in the episode. There's a button that they can press for extreme emergencies, and now they have to press that button. So they press the button, and it mass teleports the entire base 30 million light years across the universe to a desolate planet where nobody can find them. Yes, that's very plot convenient, and yes, it would be nice if it had been established, 2 seasons ago that we had this thing, but they probably only came up with it when they were writing for Cosmic Fury. But at the same time, I'm not mad that it was there, because it gives us a reason to go to a new location, to have the rest of the plot play out the way it did. So I was like, yeah, it's plot convenience, but at the same time, yeah, I don't hate it. So the Rangers and their base, and Fern, and Billy, all get teleported to this desolate planet across the galaxy, across the universe. It's a planet called Iridus, and it's just desert and a couple pieces of cactus and fruit, and worms that grow into great big, giant, worms with multiple limbs and whatnot. They're just big and ugly and gross and hungry. That's where they're stuck for the first half of the season. I don't hate it. I actually like what they did with this. I like it a lot. And meanwhile, Zedd on Earth has decided, okay, well, the Rangers are gone. They're not going to last long without their Ranger powers, so let's just start conquering everything. So Zedd's like, make sure everybody knows, planet belongs to me now. And that's how episode 2 ends. And I liked this episode a lot because it set up pretty much everything that was going to happen well. It did it the right way. It progressed the story that is being told throughout the course of the season. There wasn't any real useless filler. There was a little bit of little things here, like a one gag or two here or there with some side characters, but other than that, the whole episode served a purpose. It served its purpose well. It was good. It was good. It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. They did a good job. Showing how competent Lord Zedd is. Showing that when it comes to the Rangers, he is going straight for the jugular. He is not wasting any time. He knows the source of their power, so he's going to destroy that. He's going to make sure they can't morph anymore and they're not a threat anymore. And then they go to hide in their base. This is, nope, not going to work. He decides to drill down into their base to try to get them that way. The only reason they get away is because they have this plot-convenient mass teleportation thing that takes them across the galaxy where he doesn't know where they're at. But it just did a good job of showing how competent of a villain he is. I also like the fact that they kept setting the Rangers up for failure throughout the course of this season. First, they tried to cure Ollie using the same formula they used in the previous season when he had turned evil, and it worked last time, but this time it doesn't work. So they had to figure out something else. So they figure out a new way to try to cure him, make him not evil. They go through the whole process. Everything goes exactly as planned, and it still doesn't work. So it's like, unlike previous seasons of Power Rangers, where the first idea they come up with works, or maybe it doesn't work right away, but then they modify that same plan just a little bit, like in a moment's notice, and then it works. In this season, they tried 2 completely different solutions to the problem, and neither of them work. They still have Ollie as an evil guy. He's still out there with Lord Zedd doing stuff. I liked it. And then they lose their powers, and then they have to hightail it and run 30 million light years to escape so they can hide while they figure out what to do. I like it. This is good. What Power Rangers is doing right here. This is good storytelling. I like it. Now, episode 3 picks up, and we are on Eridus, this desolate desert planet that has a few cactuses, a few pieces of fruit, and man-eating worms. Like big-ass man-eating worms. This is also the episode where we really start to see Amelia take charge, step up, and be a leader in lieu of Zato, because they still haven't found Zato yet. Throughout the course of the last episode, we didn't get an idea of where he was. All we know is that Mick is flying around looking for him to figure out where the portal took him. All we know is it was like a green planet. That's all we know. He got sucked towards a green planet. So while Mick is out doing that, the Rangers are stuck on this desert planet trying to figure out what to do next. So they decide, hey, Ion, why don't you go cook something? Because, good food's good for morale, and you're a great cook, so why don't you go do that? Javi is trying to reteach himself how to play guitar because he's got the cybernetic arm now, and he's still trying to get used to it. He's still trying to learn how to make it move smoothly, so he's trying to do that, and it's frustrating the crap out of him. Fern and Izzy are just cleaning out the room so that the Rangers have room and a place to sleep. And then after helping Javi tune his guitar, Billy takes a look at the Morphing Master staff and starts brainstorming on a way to get the Rangers their powers back. And that's what he does pretty much throughout the course of the episode. He locks himself down in engineering. He's just working on how he can get them their powers back. Now, we don't see our villains a whole lot this episode. We see Zedd, we see Ollie, and then we see some of his minions doing choreographed dancing with a selfie stick. And it was stupid, but it did lead Zedd to sitting there just going, I am so confused, and I feel so old. That cracked me up because I felt the exact same way. We do see Ollie interact with his mom a little bit. He fools her into thinking that he's cured of being evil, and he gets her to reveal some information about what Mick is up to, and then once he's got it, he's like, haha, I'm still evil, and then he takes off with that information and goes back to Lord Zedd. But the rest of the episode focused pretty much solely on the Ranger team on Eridus, just trying to figure out what they're going to do while they're stuck on this desert planet. So they decide that they want to try to get back in touch with Earth just so they can figure out what's going on down there. So they rig up an antenna on a sand dune that's near where the base landed. And while they're doing that, Ion is picking some fruit off of this nearby plant that he finds. So he's doing that, and then he finds a bunch of eggs, and one of the eggs hatches, and it's a big old blood-sucking worm. And it jumps up and it bites him, and he's like, ow. And then he throws it away, and then the thing just explodes into a bigger worm with limbs, and they're like, oh great, so now we gotta fight this thing off. So they commence to trying to fight this worm, and it's kicking their butt because they don't have their Ranger powers. They do still have their Dino Sabers, but all the good it's doing them because this thing it's just overpowering them. And then the fight ends with Javi. He's kind of down. He's somehow got between the worm and the rest of the Rangers, and he just rears back with his new cybernetic arm, and he just takes a swing at this thing, and it knocks that thing back 50 feet. This new arm of his, it's got some juice to it. It just, pow! So, which was actually pretty cool. I liked it. So they fight off the worm, they go back into the base, and they get to work on doing whatever else they can do. The antenna's working, so now they're getting, news reports, and they're getting updates from Earth about what's going on in Zedd's invasion and all that fun stuff. And then in the meantime, Ion is in the kitchen. He's trying to cook, but he's just really frustrated because, Zato's still missing. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to find him. It's just really frustrating him. And then that's where we get another scene of Amelia stepping up and being a leader and talking him through it and just doing a good job of that. And I really like Hunter Dino did a good job portraying this. And then I like too, if you watch throughout the course of the season, and I didn't notice this either. Once again, my buddy the Frankster over the FPS Gaming pointed this out to me that throughout the course of the season, she goes from wearing all pink to pink with a little bit of red, and then pink with a little bit more red, and then like an even mixture of pink and red, and then, mostly red with some pink, and then it was just all red. Like, they kept doing that throughout the course of the show. It was a nice, unacknowledged, unmentioned touch they just did for the visual aspect of it. It's like, we liked it. It was pretty cool. Also, earlier in this episode, while Izzy and Fern are cleaning out rooms, they stumble across a set of blueprints for the base, and they see where it was plans to convert the base into a spaceship, which is a seed that was planted for later in the show when they are going to convert the base into a spaceship so they can get off the planet and start flying around and going on missions doing what they got to do. Now keep in mind that the base is stuck on this planet, but the Rangers themselves are not trapped on this planet. They can still summon the Cosmic Fury Zords. They can still leave the planet to go to other planets to go on missions and stuff. The big holdback right now is they don't have any Ranger powers. And they need a place to hide, so this is as good a place as any. Now this episode, when you basically talk it out, it sounds shorter than it really is. It was a full episode, it was a full 23 minute episode, but not a whole lot happens. They land they're on the planet, they fight a worm, Ion cooks a little bit, Billy goes and starts working on new Ranger powers for him, and that's pretty much everything that happens throughout the course of this episode. But they do it in such a way to where it does take up the full 23 minutes of the episode, and it does feel like a full episode. It does feel like good progression was made throughout the course of this episode, and it was a good story progression for the season itself. So it does seem less eventful. It does feel less eventful when you talk it out, but plenty happened. It was a good episode. And then the episode ends, Billy emerges from the engineering section, and he's got brand new morphers that he's made by studying the Morphing Master staff. So he gives them their morphers, he activates the Morphing Master staff, it opens up the grid a little bit, and the new cosmic orbs come floating down to each of the Rangers that they can use to power their new morphers, and they use it to morph for the first time, and now we've got our green, red, gold, and black Cosmic Fury Rangers. Now, the suits. Much debate about them out there in the interwebs. Personally, I don't think they look bad. I mean, they are playing off the aesthetic of the Dino Fury suits with the helmet and the dinosaur theme and all that good stuff. I think they look fine. I do think that the thickness of the torso, the fake muscle that they were kind of built into, I don't think that was necessary. I think the spandex would have been good enough. But as a whole, the little upper shields, the way the helmets look, I think they look fine. I have no problem with these suits. I think they look just fine. The belts look good. I think the suits are fine. What I really like, though, are the weapons. I like these weapons. You've got a pair of twin daggers for the Green Ranger, which is a play on the power daggers of the Yellow Ranger back in Mighty Morphin, so I do like that. But these can act as boomerangs, too, we'll see later in the show, so I like that, too. And then we've got the Black Ranger. He calls it a Dino Spike. I thought that was a dumb name. When you look at it, it's an axe. You should just call it what it was. It's a Dino Axe. Either way, it's a cool-looking weapon, and I like it. The Gold Ranger's weapon is really cool. It takes up, like, from here up on his arm, and it's a projectile weapon. It's pretty cool looking. I do like it. And then we've got the Ankylo Hammer for the Red Ranger, which I really like. And I'm a sucker for a sledgehammer. I don't know why, but axes and hammers as Power Ranger weapons, I like them. I think they're cool, especially when they're big and you can swing them with both hands. It's like, it's cool. But this is also when we get the reveal that Amelia, who has been our Dino Fury Pink Ranger for the last 2 seasons, is now our Cosmic Fury Red Ranger. And, Hunter Dino did a good job of playing it as like, wait a minute, why am I red? I'm not supposed to be red. And then everybody else looking at her like, oh man, this red looks good on you. They did a good job with that. I liked that scene. I liked it a lot. So I thought they did a good job with that. And now we've got our new team of Cosmic Fury Rangers, and they're going to go out on their first mission because they think they may have found where Zato is. And that's how the episode ends. And like I said, when you talk it out, it doesn't sound like a whole lot happens, but plenty enough happens. It's good story progression for the season. I like this episode. This whole season, every episode was like that. Every episode progressed the story of the season. There wasn't a whole lot of filler. I did like it. I did like this episode. We didn't see as much of Lord Zedd as I would have liked, and what we did see of him, it was more, it was kind of comic relief in a way, because he's sitting there in his throne, and his minions are, for whatever reason, they're trying to do like this modern choreographed dance, and and Squilia, who's like the daughter of the Squid arms manufacturer CEO, she's got her selfie stick out and she's filming the whole thing, and Zedd's sitting there watching this, and he's like, what? And I thought it was funny, I did, but we didn't get to see a true Zedd moment. in this episode, which I would have liked, but it was fine. You know, we get plenty of Zedd throughout the course of this season. This episode was good for a few reasons. Not only because it helped progress the story of the season, but because we're on this desolate planet. We don't know where we are. We don't know what is on this planet. So we get these giant man-eating worm things that are going to be like a constant source of aggravation for the Rangers while they're stuck on this planet. I do like that. There's an era of mystery in that we still don't know where Zato is. We don't know where he ended up when he got thrown through that portal in the pilot episode. So I do like that. They still don't know where he is. They know he's out there. They just don't know where or even if he's still alive. So there is that aspect to it as well. I'd like that a lot. Fern is now established as a main character in the show. She's going to be in every episode moving forward, which I do like. She's in the opening credits now. Fun fact, when you're in the opening credits, that means you got a raise. But all in all, I really did like this episode. I've liked all 3 of the first episodes so far. I think they're doing a good job of storytelling. They're doing a good job with character development. They're doing a good job of planting seeds a little earlier on so that it explains something big that happens later on in the story. I am liking this season. I'm liking it a lot. So guys, that was my review of episodes 2 and 3. Stay tuned for my review of episodes 4 and 5 coming up next week. If you would like to support the channel and help the channel grow, please consider joining my channel as a channel member. And then from time to time, if you really enjoyed one of the videos that I've put out, maybe consider giving it a super thanks. And as always, if you have enjoyed this video, then why don't you check out this video right here and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But until next time, guys, this has been Mighty Morphin DJ. I'm DJ, and you know what time it is.